Hold on.
You're up and running, sir.
All right, roll call. Chairman Charles Mackey. Here. Vice Chairman Dave Caldar.
Here.
Committee Secretary's here. Chris Airy.
He stepped away. He stepped away.
Scott Kittigrad.
Here.
James Argenian. Excuse. Frank DeBovis. Here. Barry Rigby.
Here.
Robin Trott.
Yeah.
Christy Metropolis.
Here.
Thomas Durfree.
Here.
Keith Wilkin.
Here.
Don Hudson.
Here.
Edward Waldron.
Here.
Frank Chester.
Here.
Neil Velasco.
Here.
Karen Brom.
He had to step out for all the minutes.
Suzanne Beesman. Nancy Fisher.
Here.
Dr. David Kugler.
Here.
Michael Schwartz.
Here.
Dave Reed. Kevin O'Hara.
Here.
And we have a quorum. Okay, welcome to the September 4th, 2024 meeting, the Nassau County Regional EMS Services Council. We'll start off with a salute to the flag.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Who would remain standing? Moment of silence for our military service members, EMS, fire and police officers, especially this month, paramedic Port Cousins, Syosset Fire Department that died in 9/11 line of duty, and former paramedic Rob Mangano, Deputy Commissioner, Town of Oyster Bay, as well as a paramedic with Bethpage Fire Department, former paramedic with EAB, will pass regional council members. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, the REMSCO meeting minutes, last meeting was on June 26, 2024, been posted up on the website. And ask for approval of the REMSCO meeting minutes from that meeting. We have a motion. Motion. Second. Question. All in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Okay, we'll move on to New York State investigations, disciplinary actions. Quite a few since we last met in June, so just bear with me. All right. First, once again, came in just earlier today. Luis Carrillo. EMT number 272873. For Article 30. Part 800 New York Code of Rules and Regulations. 800.16A and 800.3 AN. Surrender of a certificate as of August 7th, 2024. Laura Mastriano, EMT number 194997, for violations of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations, Part 800.16 A2. A3, A4, A9, and Part 800.15, A1, and A3, surrendered certificate effective 6/5/24, and that was posted on June 24th, 2024. Gary Radijak, EMT number 273857, violations of New York Code of Regulations, Article 10, Part 800.3 AM, surrendered effective July 2nd, 2024, was posted on July 9th, 2024. Benjamin D. Miller, EMT number 307329, for violations of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations, 800.16, A1, 2, 3, 9, and 11. Certificate has been revoked effective July 3rd, 2024, posted on July 9th, 2024. Kyoko Sato, EMT number 473647, violation of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations, 800.16, A2 and 3, surrendered effective May 13th, 2024, posted on July 11th, 2024. James Schofield, EMT number 386652, violations of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations, 800.3, A1, and violation of previous stipulation and orders, surrender of certificate as of July 18th, 2024. Brian Torres, EMT number 266687, violations of probation from a previous stipulation and order, suspended for 1 year effective August 2nd, 2024, posted on August 1st of 2024. Amanda Eugenie, EMT number 256221, violation Article 10, New York Code of Regulations, 800.15A, 800.3 AM, and 800.3 AL. Suspended for 1 year, effective 8/20/2024. Suspension has been stayed pending successful completion of 3 years probation. Assessed a civil penalty of $4,000, of which $2,000 is stayed pending successful probation. Posted on August 21st of 2024. Harold Serrano, EMT number 449474, violations of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations, 800.15A, 800.3 AM, and 800.3 AL. Suspended for 1 year effective 8/20/2024. Suspension has been stayed pending successful completion of 3 years probation. Assessed a civil penalty. So again, $4,000, $2,000 of it has been stayed pending successful probation. Posted on August 21st of 2024. Yvonne Day, EMT number 416186, for violations of Article 10, New York Code of Rules and Regulations, Part 800.15 B1, suspended for 1 year effective August 21st, 2024. Suspension has been stayed pending successful completion of 3 years probation, and was assessed a civil penalty of $2,000, effective and posted on 8/21/2024. And last but not least, Andrew DeWolf, EMT number 232204, for 134 violations of Article 10, New York Code of Rules and Regulations, 800.16A. His certificate has been revoked effective 8/26/24 and assessed a civil penalty of $26,000, posted on August 27th of 2024. All right. As I said, the council email and communications have been posted, once again, incoming and outgoing, regarding some of the bills that came in during the summer. The quarterly invoice for the REMSCO website. Once again, emails to our chairman, Francis DeBovis of the Legal and Governmental, regarding the current council bylaws. He will get into that later on as they are being reviewed for adoption for 2025. Information regarding the council Zoom account, price increase, and once again, that has been paid as well, as it came up August 1st with that. We had from the State Bureau of EMS, a reminder, program agency, council 22, 23, and 24. All documents have been submitted to the state for reimbursement for both council as well as program agency reimbursement for the year 22, 23, and we're currently working on 23, 24 with that, and working on the contract to be awarded in the coming months. Inwood Fire Department regarding systems matrix change. Legislative Chairman, once again, Bovis, regarding amendments for bylaw committee review. Membership, Chairman, regarding the CSEA council seat information and representation for Robert McAvoy. As well as also, coming up today's meeting, discussion on membership and attendance, regarding that with the bylaws. Membership, Chairman, regarding attendance. NCPD CB, requesting updated copy of EMS 911 matrix, as we've been getting some questions in the office regarding, their status, with multiple volunteer agencies. Fire Commission Chairman Wakely, regarding, setting up a meeting, for design of a new, fire EMS, first responder memorial at Eisenhower Park. I'll cover that later on in our report. And the Greater New York Hospital Association, is requesting a meeting and stuff, and we're working to discuss with them, regarding, disaster preparedness, and our MCI plan. They'd like to, sit down and see if they can work with us. Okay. And, as I said, Public Education Board Chairman, more under that, from Vice Chairman Caldor with that. Any questions on that? All right, so move on to, my report. As I said, we're currently working on the, 2023 awards dinner. We're tentatively scheduled for October 9th. We're looking to possibly change that date under the executive council meeting. Just prior to this meeting and stuff. The timetable, once again, is, felt to be a little bit short. We're inquiring about moving it back a month, regarding that. More to come under the reports and stuff, with that. But once again, we are currently working on, the awards have been selected. They've been sent to New York State as of, July 1st. We're awaiting, word back from the state on any, statewide recipients, regarding that. Just said the ALS Provider of the Year, Michael Mena, Northwell CMS, Center for Emergency Medical Services. EMS Communications Specialist, Megan Allison, Northwell Center for Emergency Medical Services. The Harriet C. Weber Leadership Award, with Mark Vitale, NCPD Aviation, as well as Seacliff Fire Department. EMS Educators of the Year, Joshua Golub from the Nassau County EMS Academy, and George Choi from the Nassau County Fire Police EMS Academy. Registered Professional Nurse, RN of Excellence, Kristen Keating, North Shore Hospital at Manhasset. EMS Agency of the Year, Northwell Center for EMS. The Costas T. Lambrew, Physician of the Year Award to Dr. Jatinder Singh, Nassau University Medical Center. And the Nassau County REMSCO Chairman's Award, Kevin J. O'Hara, North Merrick Fire Department, the Nassau County EMS Academy, as well as the Nassau County Fire Police EMS Academy for lifetime achievement, in EMS here in Nassau County. Disaster preparedness, we had the MCI, rollout, training session. Had about 35 members in attendance. There's a little discrepancy with the date as it went out. May have once again thrown some people off. We discussed it in the executive session. We are working on putting together the training program for the trainers. And we hope to get that out in the next few months to start the training by the beginning of the year regarding that. Regarding refreshments, once again, allocated at the last meeting was $150. It was spent $74.15, and all bills have been submitted to the treasurer and stuff for reimbursement and stuff on that. The New York Collaborative Protocols, as you know, went into effect as of July 1st. The collaborative protocols now in effect for all providers. The Mover app has been updated with all the current updates for the ALS as well as BLS protocols, and they should be once again followed by all providers as well as agencies. The REMSCO and REMAC meeting minutes, as it came up, per New York State open meeting laws, the videotaped minutes, once again, will suffice as the minutes for meeting. As you know, it's live streamed out for both REMSCO and REMAC to the public. And therefore, once again, if you have any questions regarding any minutes or any questions and stuff regarding that, they are posted on the website at REMSCO at Nassau EMS .org. You can review them with that. All right, for that also, so that we make sure that everybody is on the minutes and stuff, if you are not a council representative or an alternate, we request if you have anything before the council, that you come up to the podium. Once again, there is a microphone over there. Please state your name, affiliation, and once again, what you would like to bring to the council, so that we have it for the record and stuff on the minutes with that. Okay, so that'll be provided up here in the front for documentation purposes with that. 3-minute time limit, once again, and we'll be judicious to some degree with that. Nassau County EMS Coordinated Response Committee, we had a very good report and stuff at the REMAC meeting last month from Chief Fire Marshal Utaro on the status of the county committee that was formulated approximately 2 years ago. Currently, they're waiting for further information back from the administration regarding recommendations on the committee's report. There's been no information forwarded back through the council to us as far as a date in the future that the committee will reconvene to discuss the response from the administration. We've reached out. As I said, at this point, we're hopeful that some of the recommendations and stuff will be adopted. As you know, we've been through 3-4 administrations, and there's been no significant changes and stuff regarding response, communications, and various issues that are an issue with our current system. The EMS platform, NEMSIS 3.5 is up and running. All agencies should be submitting EPCRs on that updated platform. Their agency coordinators should be evaluating those weekly to make sure that they are getting through to the state. The state has been sending out, and in the coordinated report every Friday has been sent out the vendors' information regarding how many PCRs the state has received. And that should be compared against your run totals for each agency to verify that your EPCRs and your vendors are meeting the responsibility to get it across the bridge on the elite program. All right, it's a responsibility of all agency managers and agency heads to verify that that is occurring. ALS provider credentialing, all ALS providers, AEMT and up, when you recertify, must once again take the recertification exam. They've been updated. And if you have an issue, once again, contact the REMSCO council, or once again, check in first with your agency coordinator, agency manager, who can get you set up for that test. We have sent multiple emails out over the past several months, but you need to still be credentialed here in order to provide care within the region. And that's a quality assurance issue that REMAC is looking at, as well as the Council for Operational Quality. New York State, we've had one suspension in the past 2 months. Once again, Hempstead Fire Department EMS has been suspended from providing all EMS operations due to a failure to complete and pass their recertification and inspection. And as of last week, we've had one agency, the Carl Place Fire Department, has been downgraded to BLS until an investigation is complete for failure to pass their biannual recertification as well with that. So more to come. All right, currently they're operating at the BLS level only. eBridge Communications, I'm sure Dr. Poole will have more on that. It's moving well. Once again, Northwell is up and running. We are seeing an increase in the usage. It has been very effective, especially in communications issues and some power outage that we saw last month. So we do have options, and once again, the primary communication system is the E-Bridge, but the radio system has not been taken away, as there are various times where there may be some issues that are warranted. All right, New York State REMSCO and CMAC meetings are scheduled for September 17th and September 18th up in Saratoga Springs. All REMSCO and CMAC meetings are live streamed for public viewing. And these meetings are posted on the New York website, once again, to be able to get on there. The following day, Thursday, September 19th, 11 a.m., New York State Bureau of EMS will unveil their new memorial dedicated to EMS providers that have passed in the past 18 months. They had to push it back from May. As everybody's aware, the EMT sunsetting was scheduled for July 1st of 2027. Education will have more and stuff on that, upcoming courses. If you're interested in upgrading from CC to paramedic, the courses are available through Northwell, New York State. And last but not least, excuse me, Town of Oyster Bay request for the BLS first response has still not been sent to the council. It's been put on hold. And therefore it will not move until completion and submission to the region for to be sent to New York State BEMS for documentation, inspection, and final approval. So currently it is on the table, and it will not resurface until all of the required information from the Town of Oyster Bay has been supplied to the region. And that is all I currently have. Are there any questions for me? Okay. We'll move on to Vice Chairperson's report, David Calhoun.
All right, so as Chairman Mackey mentioned, we have a venue. We checked out 3 different venues. They had the most accommodating pricing for us. There was a request from the executive committee to try and move it back to November. I'm actually waiting for a phone call back from we picked the Coral House. I'm waiting for a phone call back from them. As soon as I get that information from them, we'll start firming everything up, and notifications will be sent out through the EMS coordinator and all agencies in the county. And that's all I have.
Questions? Any questions? Okay. Secretary Treasurer report, Thomas Devaney.
All right, we got a couple of checks for cuts. It's the last meeting. As the chairman mentioned, the website renewal quarterly was $2,760.15. There was a $74.15 reimbursement to the chairman for the refreshments of the usually planned meeting. There was a reimbursement to Don Hudson for REMSCO travel, $622.15. There was a deposit to Coral House, $500, and to renew the Zoom account was $159.90. The current balance right now in the checking account is $5,549.49. Money market is $58,579.15, and business savings is $24,447.03 for a total of $88,575.67.
Any questions on the Secretary Treasurer report? Okay. We'll move on. State EMS Representative, EMS Coordinator, Donald Hudson.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. So there was a handout on the desk. It's a screenshot of the website with a color photo back and front to it. We're going to take a few minutes to talk about that at the request of the Executive Council, or the board, I should say. So it's been a while since we did this. We have some new faces on the council and whatnot. Years past, we used to do these things in a booklet that was handed out, but as we do with most other things, we try to go paperless and electronic. So we'll give this a whirl. To everyone on the live stream, I'll be sharing my screen so that you can be looking at the same thing we're looking at. I was in paper, yours on the screen. So let's do that. All right, so, again, all of this is publicly posted, not only, under our requirements, as we'll talk about with the Bureau of EMS, but also public officers law and public meeting laws and whatnot. So the first, black and white double side is, the screenshot of the EMS coordinators page and the SEMSCO page, pretty much where a lot of this stuff is kept. REMSCO and REMAC has their own pages. Everything's a jumping off point from there, similar to this. So in an effort to try and save paper, this is all on the Nassau EMS website. So let me do that for the people at home. So here is the EMS coordinators page. I'm just pulling up the screen share on the internet. So that's where, things are posted, namely where the statutory authorities and what are the foundational documents that outline the duties and responsibilities of each of these facets of our EMS system. So that's the EMS coordinators one. The other one was the state EMS report. So this is the color chart that we're going to talk about. So everyone at home is looking at the National EMS website where this chart's displayed. So this is something that Ron Hassan, very long-standing and previous member of the State EMS Council, had put together and has since been shared around the state for trying to explain this interwoven web of what EMS is in New York State. So you see, it's basically an organizational chart. The patient is listed at the top. That's who we're all here for. In one way, shape, and form. And then all the different subdivisions or divisions of state level, regional level, and then local level, and their interplay between. So you can see the lines connecting everybody there. If you turn the page to the left, and for those at home, I'll scroll down. This is basically a synopsis of who each of these organizations or entities is. So SEMSCO, CMAC, defined in Article 30, and then on a local level, I'm sorry, a regionalized level, the corresponding REMSCOs and REMACs. Similar in their structure, similar in their foundational authorities and statutory authorities, all derived from Article 30 as listed there. Again, those links are on the website, along with the EMS coordinator. So going back to the org chart, if you will, you see on here where the area EMS officers of the county coordinators is listed on the right-hand margin. I will go back to the people on the web there. So that's over here, county coordinators. As far as the Bureau of EMS central office, so that's down here on the right-hand side. The program agencies are listed there with the lines connecting. Again, the hard line is a direct relationship. The dashed line is an indirect relationship. So on the far left side is the hospital, medical control facilities, EMS systems medical director, the REMAC and the CMAC, the agency medical directors in between the providers and the agencies and whatnot. So who cares? What does this mean? So what this means is each of these entities has its own requirements, responsibilities, statutory authorities, reporting authorities, and answerable to the others linked in this chain. Namely, what that means for the council. So here in Nassau, we have the REMSCO, right, the Regional EMS Council, which we sit at today. With them, we have the Regional Emergency Medical Services Advisory Committee, the REMAC, the physician medical directors that enable us with medical direction, medical control, protocols, guidelines and policies and such that outline the application of the medicine that we're given. And then we have the program agency. So the program agency and the REMSCO are two distinctly different things on paper, although here in Nassau right now, under contract with the Bureau of EMS, they're the same thing, meaning that the council, Regional EMS Council, the REMSCO, is, as the name would imply, right, its own council. It is also functioning as the regional program agency. Both of those are under written contract, like 400-page contracts with the Bureau of EMS through the Attorney General's office and the Comptroller's office and all the facets of state government. What does that mean? What that means is the council gets a grant funding of up to $25,000 per calendar year, per contract year, for the administration of their assorted duties, and that's all line item and budgeted. Similarly, the program agency, i.e. in Nassau, the council, under a separate contract with the Bureau of EMS and all those state subdivisions, has $169 and change $1,000 available to them for all of the office, back end, EPCR, who does the taxes, administrative, right, all of the business end of the thing, if you will. As far as that's, the previous contract was for 22, 23, 24. That ended on the fiscal year at the end of June. Currently statewide, the 18 regions are currently without contract. Also Nassau, right, as we're one of those 18 regions. We were told by the Bureau on a meeting last week that those contracts are in the works. They'll be for another 5-year period, and they'll be with the existing contractors, just to keep the ball moving, as those of us involved in government purchasing and contracting knows that nothing happens slowly or easily. So in order to keep things going and get those contracts back in place as soon as possible, those are going to remain with, in our Nassau world, the council for both program agency and the REMSCO. They've said that could possibly open to change later on, but the initial priority is to get those contracts back in place. As Chuck was saying, with the program agency and the council, as they're essentially one, in reality, two different things on paper, that's where the finances come in, our auditing comes in, outside auditing comes in, CPAs, lawyers, tax returns. So we're currently in the process of having the most recent fiscal year's tax return done so that we can not only close out the previous contract period for both the council and the program agency, but also start down the path with the rest of the state for the next contract period to assure that funding for the council, both program agency duties and the council itself. Yes, that's pretty much everything that I think I wanted to talk about. Obviously, there's probably more questions. So as always, feel free to ask, shoot an email, put it on the agenda, answer you back, whatever we can do to try and keep this as cohesive and concise as it possibly can be in this interwoven world of bureaucracy.
So for those that, and I'll just keep this brief, for those that only been here a couple of years, the backstory to this whole thing was the previous program agency was a private corporation. And that private corporation, once again, there were some issues and stuff that arose with them. And with that, there was a vote of no confidence from the council. And that being said, once again, they went into disillusionment. For about 18 months, all right, when I first came in, all right, under previous chairman, Master Chorus, and then flowing into me, we had no program agency. Everything in this council was done predominantly through the assistance of EAB, the fire marshal's office, the people you see up here in the board and stuff. And we were a rudderless ship. We were basically on the brink of once again being absorbed into another region somewhere in New York State to administrate what goes on here in Nassau County. And with that, once again, we collectively got together and I sent letters and stuff out to various municipal agencies within Nassau County requesting assistance administratively to handle program agency administration with that. Of the 3 that were sent out, 2 said that they couldn't do it. The only one that stepped forward was the fire marshal's office through the fire commission and offered their assistance. So that is how we currently have a combined council and program agency involving the fire marshal's office and the council, because otherwise, once again, we would have been ingrained into the, one of the other 17, which could have been Buffalo. It could have been the North Country, whoever would take us, once again, and they would have to have done all of the work in order to manage this. So we were fortunate in that. So the backstory to that is we currently have a pathway forward to move forward as a region and to make substantial changes and stuff with that. The next contract comes up and we're waiting on, once again, finalizing all the paperwork with them. But that's basically where we are. All right, so, like I said, for those that haven't been around the past 3 years and the amount of effort and amount of time it took to once again, kind of get us straightened out and get us on our own, this is where we are today, and that's why it is functioning the way it is. Do we have any other questions? Don, do you have anything else that you'd like to bring up and stuff from that?
Just state meetings, so to close out my state thing, state meetings are this month, as you mentioned, and also the EMS coordinated report was delayed last week due to some computer issues. That continue to plague me, but, sorry. County and the IT department's working on it, but, those posted the website and went out.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
I received it. So it's important, the coordinator's report goes out generally on Friday, it's a computer issue. So please forward those to all of your agency providers, your leadership, so they're aware of what's going on. It's not only the EMS, but the fire report is also attached to it, so it might be good for your agency to be aware of what's going on, regardless of whether your agency is a fire or EMS-based agency with that. Any questions for the EMS coordinator? Not. All right. Move on, executive council, as we said, we met earlier, today. Most of the council, chairman, were in attendance. They'll have their own reports and stuff regarding that. Today, I'd like to discuss on the new business. We have a number, I'll pass it around. Once again, they were out on the table. The membership committee, we've had a number of, council members that have been missing meetings without excusals. And one of the reasons why we started taking upfront quorums and stuff to make sure that we can move along with the business that's required. We only meet 10 or theoretically every 2 months. So therefore, we're going to be sending notices and stuff out to those council members and alternates and stuff that currently are not making meetings, not requesting excusals, and not being able to assist us in moving forward. And some of the council seats have been vacant for well over a year. So it comes up to the council, once again, do you want to change constituencies and remove and replace those constituencies with other people within the hospital organizations or within EMS and the community? There are set numbers of council members that can sit in those various seats by the state standards, Article 30, but something for discussion with that. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to REMAC. Dr. Alan Chierson is excused today. Dr. David Kugler has the report for REMAC.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a review of the summary of the minutes from the last meeting. One of the things that was received was a letter from Northwell Health EMS requesting approval for 5 physicians to become credentialed as field physicians for that agency. 2 of those doctors are on the Nassau REMAC, myself and Dr. Matthew Harris. The others, Dr. Berkowitz is a regionally approved medical director. Dr. Barbara, Dr. Howell, and Dr. Gara are members of this committee. Everybody's board certified in emergency medicine, board certified or board eligible in EMS. Everybody was approved except for Dr. Barbara and Dr. Gara. They were only approved provisionally, pending their completion of the paramedic credentialing portion of the medical control credentialing. And that has subsequently been completed. And so they are, I guess the provisional has been moved over to unconditional approval as field physicians. So for providers, please look if you're a Northwell provider, please look for these doctors, including myself, in the field. eBridge, it's been implemented now for a year. We're gonna meet with Dana and try and see if the hospitals can move to use of its full thickness use. Meaning the hospitals already pay for the complete application, and they're the ones that provide eBridge for the providers to use for free regionally. One of the applications on the hospital side that isn't being used at this point is the opportunity for the EMS or the ER to pass through that notification to the specialty receiving. And that would be like to notify the trauma team, the STEMI team, the stroke team, or the code team that the particular patient is coming. And so we're going to encourage that, just so this way they get the bang for their buck in terms of usage. And additionally, regarding usage, it's very impressive. For all of 2023, there were 15,000 notifications made on the eBridge server that we captured. Just year to August 1st, so 2024, the first 7 months, was twice that amount. If we continue on this trajectory, we'll have done 4 times the amount of notifications on eBridge in 2024 that we did in 2023. That's very impressive use of the system notification tool. We just have to remember that it works best when the providers make the notification, access eBridge prior to departure from the scene with the patient, because they may not be aware of a hospital diversion, or medical control may intercede with a particular instruction that the EMS provider may not be aware of. And if they're making the notification as they're backing into the facility of destination, it doesn't give the hospital time to get everything prepared. It doesn't allow medical control to intercede, and it doesn't really help as much as a notification, other than letting us know that there's something going on. With that, also, eBridge has time and time again proved its usefulness. There were episodes where there was a radio outage, power outage, or during the CrowdStrike computer outage, eBridge continued to work. It's not based on Microsoft, so CrowdStrike didn't affect it. It's I think it's housed on Amazon and their web-based system. So the CrowdStrike outage didn't get it. So when we were having trouble making notifications by phone and by radio, eBridge was still working. You could have continued to do that. So as a tool, I think we need to continue encouraging our providers to use it. It works great. And the more we use it, the more comfortable we'll be with it. Moving on, the RTAC has met and told the REMAC with regards to protocols that they still do not approve of regional use of TXA for trauma patients. So that's not going to be added to our regionally approved protocols. IV nitroglycerin was approved by the protocol committee and was then approved by the REMAC. So if your agency is so equipped and trained and your medical director approves it, your agency may use it. It's a regionally approved therapy. Not to step on Dr. Newberg's toes, but just to point out what was discussed. Lido Point Lookout Fire District was RSI approved. Their agency medical director came to the meeting as required, and I don't think they have any approved providers at this point, but they're an approved agency. New Hyde Park Fire Department was previously approved as a BLS IGEL agency, but wasn't formally voted on. That was voted on and approved. Lawrence Cedarhurst is now a BLS IGEL agency. There was some housekeeping changes made to the airway form. We want to encourage its use. It's been used a lot, and the easier we make it, the better, and the easier it'll be for everybody to fill it out. We realize that there are some times providers are encountering resistance from physicians in the emergency room. And we don't want you to not fill it out because the doctor's refusing to sign the form. So we're making it so that you can just get the doctor's name and submit it, and then we can always go back and verify if we need to. This is key to regional quality for airway, so please continue to encourage your providers to do that. This involves any advanced airway, from the PLSI gel, supraglottic airways from ALS providers, or endotracheal tube intubation, and now that we're doing RSI as well. And then, lastly, it was already, actually, two more things. Vital Signs is in Rochester, October 17th to the 20th. It's a great way to get your CME renewal. If you do CME renewals, you get it all done in one sitting. Something else that's very important that was discussed in REMAC and regional quality is the use of red lights and sirens. Red lights and sirens in the current state of EMS literature is looked at now as a therapy, just like giving defibrillation and epinephrine or IV fluids. And it has its risks and its benefits. It needs to be looked at as that, so that every time you use it, you make sure that you're using it for the right reasons, because we know it's inherently dangerous. And that's something that's going to be monitored going forward when the bandwidth allows. Lastly there was a discussion about medical control responsibilities and roles, which is now under review and going to be submitted to the policy committee for evaluation and change. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any questions for Dr. Kugler for REMAC?
Yeah, so, just, in addition to my report, I just spoke to the Coral House. They've changed the date to November 20th of this year. No extra fee or anything like that, so, we'll be going along with that. And the notifications should be going out, to countywide shortly.
Right, thanks, Dave.
November. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on. Communications, Karen Broom, I know she, Karen, oh, there you are.
Not the long back here. So, the Woodman matrix change that we voted on previously was put into effect, July 22nd. So they have a 6-month period before we, reevaluate that change. I know we had some questions about it. Other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Okay, thank you very much. Disaster planning, Kevin O'Hara.
As you reported in your executive report on June 29th, we had the initial rollout of the MCI plan held at the Morale Center, and it was attended by approximately 75 to 100 people. That was sort of our feeling out of the masses. It was well agreed. They discussed the plan itself, very well accepted. So in executive council, we talked about our next plan is to start to roll it out to the entire county. And we sort of agreed that right now is kind of in bad timing to start to put together a training program during our holiday season, et cetera. So we agreed that we're going to come up with a physical PowerPoint type of presentation, doing it in person and starting January 1st of 2025. So with that, we'll get some people together, put a PowerPoint and start to roll it out battalion-wide, which we felt would be the best right there. And also, try to stress during that battalion-wide that sort of a trainer. So they should be reaching out to their departments, getting their departments up to speed with the new plan.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how it goes from there. We'll evaluate how one of the first or one or two of our trainings go and take it from there.
Great. And like I said, if anybody has any questions or any input or anything that they would like to do as far as the training, we know we have multiple different agencies, with fire, police, volunteer ambulance corps, as well as, getting the hospitals and the communication centers involved. It all has to be, once again, rolled out in different formats and stuff in order to encompass all of those various entities that will play a role in that MCI plan. So if you have any suggestions or anything, please email the council. And then once again, we can get it to the chairman for the committee to review with that as we build it.
And if I could add, we also talked about probably what the first training that we do, we will tape it, so this way for the future, if necessary, at least we have a training that we could put on the YouTube website or whatever.
Right.
Be a good idea.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for the disaster planning? All right, move on. Education and training, Chairman Ed Waldron.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody had a good summer. So the one thing I know it's been talked about a couple of times, protocol changes. Providers, agencies, and medical directors are responsible to know what the protocol changes are and those who are properly implementing them out in the field. So, they've been going for 2 months now. It's really no excuse if you're out providing care that you don't know your protocols. New York State has started giving out early Christmas gifts, the Bureau. First one is if you started getting a certification card in the mail lately, you would notice that you now have a 4-year certification. They are not giving extensions to people who are currently certified. So if you got your card in July, you have a 3-year. You got your card in June, you have a 4-year. So, and they will be going 4-year from here on out. There are more changes coming from the Bureau. Or they're going to try to implement new changes at the REMSCO and CMAC meetings. So stay tuned for those. They are moving in a positive direction with EMS education and EMS in general. So look for those changes to be coming out, but before you want. For those of you that are still riding high in your 5-year certification from the 2 extensions you got during COVID, those are coming to an end in March. If you were one of the last groups to have tested before COVID hit, your certification's coming to an end. So while your card may say, 2023, you're good to 2025, please check the health commerce system. Please enroll yourself in a refresher or do your CME, whichever you so choose. Know that those extensions are coming to an end, so don't be surprised. No cards were issued with the new expiration dates. Every agency has access or should have access to the health commerce system to pull your current certification dates. If not, you can email one of the academies, myself included, and we're more than happy to send you them. All right, so please keep that in your plans. We still get it, Don and I and some other people still get calls, shocked that they are sunsetting the EMTCC, even though we have talked about it ad nauseum for a long time now. The next CC to Medic Bridge program is going to start October 17th. Applications are due by October 4th. There are only a handful of classes left before the sunset date of July 1st, 2027. Please don't be the person going, I didn't know this was going on. And you get downgraded to AEMT or EMT, whichever you so choose. As far as credentialing for RSI and Dr. Newbert, there is another difficult airway class being given. Both dates must be attended. It's November 9th and November 16th. They're both Saturdays, 8 to 4. Any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ed. We'll move on to Legal and Government Affairs. Chairman Francis Bogus Senior.
Yes. Okay, there was a handout that was at the signing desk. I have some changes. Again, this is all marked as a draft. Any of the changes, I believe I have either circled in red or printed in red. So that'll give you time to peruse through this and just double check anything. Again, even if it's grammatically, I'm not an attorney, I don't have, all this great verbiage and stuff like that, but if anything you pick out, just let me know. The important part of this all is we want to try to get this going as soon as possible, possibly to vote on it in November if everybody, has no issues with anything. And if you do have issues with anything, if you would please send questions and comments to the REMSCO website, and that would get forwarded to myself. This way we have a documentation of who, what, where, and when. The few things that we did put in there at the request of the executive committee was number one is going to be instead of 9 standing committees, there's going to be 10 standing committees. The addition is going to be the audit committee that the chairman and the executive board will be setting up in the near future once this gets taken care of. And then the other thing is some lengthy language in regards to conflict of interest. So we have some of that we want to make sure that everybody has a good understanding of what's going on, where and when. Again, stuff is kind of self-explanatory, and if there's any questions, feel free to, give me a call, email me, specifically through the, REMSCO email address.
Okay, yeah, so this will be, emailed out to all those, council members and alternates and stuff that are not in attendance, today. For them to evaluate, as he said, we will, review it. If it doesn't come to pass in November, we will look to, the beginning of the year. It's, by the bylaws, we're supposed to do it, every other year. I know we've done amendments in the past several years, nothing of any substance, but a good review of the bylaws, was warranted. So therefore, once again, I tasked the legal and governmental, committee and stuff to look at this and to evaluate, to see where we need to make changes and stuff in the future, with that. So thank you, Frank, for taking care of that. Any other questions for legal and governmental? I'll move on. Public education and the REMSCO awards.
Yeah, all the awards were forwarded. The REMSCO and to the state. The state reported earlier. He's working on a date for the dinner, and then I guess we'll have to decide how we're gonna handle that.
I think you just formulated, what did you say, November 20th. November 20th has been, penciled in. Once again, we've changed it from October 9th. Give us a little bit more time to coordinate that. We'll get that out this week. Or the beginning of next week to the masses and to the recipients. Hopefully by November, we should have an idea, because I believe the state, vital signs and stuff will be over, and, we'll have notification on any, statewide, awards as well, with that. So we should have those back, in time for the awards. Those will be for 2023. All right, thank you. EMS systems, Chairman, Chris Terry.
The committee took action on communications received by the council from the Inwood Fire District, wherein they petitioned to change their position in the 911 ambulance response matrix. They're currently number 4, and they're also number 3 for a very small section of their district that's in the very west end of the Atlantic Beach on the Barrier Island. That small section is comprised almost entirely of 2 of the beach clubs down there. We had a dialogue with their EMS representative. They gave a compelling reason for their ability to be able to respond with staffing and resource availability along those lines. A review of the data suggested that Inwood has supplemented their ability to respond to 911 ambulance calls. And as such, the committee submits as a seconded motion, the recommendation that they be moved. They would be moving to primary in that one area of West Atlantic Beach. There were only 8 calls there last year. Water department went to almost all of them. And then they would be moving from the number 4 position to the number 2 position in the remainder of their district.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions for EMS systems? All right, as we discussed, I believe we're gonna be reviewing those on a 6-month basis. Any upgrades from here on out, once again, will be reviewed. And the information will be sent to systems. And then from there on, once again, periodic reviews, to make sure that we're meeting the bar and stuff like that. Move on to membership. Chairwoman, Robin Trott.
Yeah, there's been a change in the Civil Service Employees Association Council seat. On behalf of the Career EMS Unionized Workers Constituency, Robert McAvoy has been appointed to the seat with David Reed as the alternate. There's also been 2 changes to the council alternates, with Todd Aiken serving as alternate for Dave Kelder, and Steve Orlando will now serve as alternate for Edward Walter.
Okay. As I said earlier, once again, she's done an extensive review of all of the attendance records for the past year. And we will be getting emails and stuff out to those that have been delinquent, following the bylaws and stuff. with that and, on the new business. We'll have to look at that come November. Do we want to change constituencies, for those, members that are not attending the meetings so that we can meet quorum on each, meeting going forward? All right, the hospital emergency department, Dana Cordopasso.
No report, there is a meeting. On September 26th. We held virtually, we have some agenda items. Purge and bridge updates there, we discussed in addition to what Dr. Cooper mentioned. Any other agenda item.
Okay, if you would, once again, just reach out to the executive board and stuff, if there's anything that we need to get out to the ERs and to the hospitals and stuff. Especially now with the awards dinner and stuff, we appreciate your assistance with that. We'll move on to subcommittees, the Airway Committee and the pilot program. Dr. Newbert.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just to dovetail off Dr. Cooper's report, we also added 4 more RSI medics to New Hyde Park. So New Hyde Park is now operating with 6 authorized RSI medics. Glencoe BMS, we're still just working on finding, they have people that are qualified, but we just need to get them an airway course, and that should be happening hopefully shortly. And the Lido Point Lookout Fire District is going to be for future use, but we'll keep everyone posted. If there's any other agencies that would like to be involved as part of RSI, please reach out. We really do want to start getting, enrolling more agencies, and we also want to support any agencies that are interested in doing it. The other important thing that happened recently is that in Suffolk County, their RSI committee authorized reciprocity with ours. So essentially for training and education and for, authorization to be RSI, we basically are recognizing each other. So we still have to approve the medics at our committee, but if they are medics in Suffolk or they took the class in Suffolk, that gives them standing when we are then considering them at our level for whether they could be an RSI medic here. So the question of direct reciprocity on the educational piece was a little bit of a question mark we had for a while, and that we have closed that loop. So that's actually very nice, and it just shows the collaboration we've had with our neighbors to the east. They've been very good in helping us develop our program and support us. From the iGel side, we have 20+ agencies that are participating. There have been successful uses, including 2 recent ones in Glen Cove. That pilot is continuing at the state level, essentially indefinitely at the moment. They're looking at some point for that to become part of the collaborative, but they have to, the nationwide scope of practice hasn't caught up to us yet, so that is why it's still being handled as a pilot program. But if there are any other agencies involved or any other agencies that would like to be involved, we are still enrolling people and we're still training people per the state pilot, and that will be for the foreseeable future. And all of the data that the state has been getting from that has been very positive and has shown that BLS providers can place them. There's not a lot of complications. They've actually had a couple ROSC saves at the BLS level using an AED, CPR, and an iGel. So they actually have some good data on that. So, Suffolk County, Suffolk County's made this recommendation, and we talked about the Airway Committee also, that the non-balloon supraglottic airways, which essentially is the iGel, is a very good, medical director should just look into this. It's actually very easy to place at the both BLS and ALS level. It's safe. And it's effective. So, just if anyone's using a different airway, not that there's anything wrong with them, but they should just look into the iGel to see if they think that's a good option, because we're getting lots of good data that it's a very successful and very easy to use device, and it's having positive effects for our patients. So just to put that out there for people, that there's any medical directors that are not, familiar with the iGel or looking into it, if they want to reach out, I'm happy to explain, how the pilot's been working, and that, it's good that we're part of this, because it's leading, EMS forward, and we're doing something that's hopefully going to have a protocol change in the near future for BLS providers. So everything's going good.
How is the pilot program with Hudson Valley? How's the numbers and the amount of data that's coming in?
Yeah, like I said, their data is really good, and we've been able to contribute to that from here, and they gave us data back, about 6 months ago. And that's what I was reporting on. So essentially, they've had very few complications. They've had no bad outcomes. A few that, because of vomiting or whatever, that they had to remove and then just go back to BLSing the airway, but it wasn't, the patients didn't have any kind of bad outcome because of that. And like I said, they have positive outcomes, including ROSC states, with the eye gels. So I mean, they're demonstrating that it's useful, that it's safe, and that it's effective.
All right, great. Thank you very much. We'll move on. eBridge Communication, Dr. Kugler, do you have anything additional?
Nothing additional.
Okay. As reported, the EMS tag that we had set up, just prior to, the county, committee that, myself, Dr. Kugler, Don, and a bunch of other people sat on, it's kind of taking a back seat at this point. We're waiting for the administration, to come forth with, and look at the recommendations and see how they are going to, interpret those recommendations and how they're going to, implement some of those recommendations and stuff. And we hope to have a report by the end of the year, regarding that, and possibly a committee meeting to, determine that, and then we'll come back to the tag with that. Any committees that I may have omitted? Okay, move on to unfinished business. As Dave just said, we have, pushed back a month. The 2023 EMS awards will be on, November 20th, 2024. Scheduled for the Coral House in Baldwin. I will be working, with Dave, rest of the executive board, as well as, Chief Chester, to get the information and stuff out this week. His committee, for public education awards, will, call a meeting and stuff to see how they can assist us, with, staffing on that. And once again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Does anybody else have anything else under unfinished business?
Yes, Ernie Herron.
Ernie Herron.
Alternate for Kevin O'Hara. At the last committee meeting, we had asked if there had been an after-action review on the cricket tournament. Has anything happened on that, or is it happening?
To my knowledge, nothing has been forwarded to the region or the REMSCO. We've heard nothing from the state regarding anything regarding the Part 18 that was sent up on that. So at this point, I have no report on any information other than what we initially got on that.
Does anybody know if they're having one?
We reported to the city, you asking us to have something? I mean,
No,
what do you want?
has there been one? Is there going to be one, or
There
has
was
there?
a report submitted to the state for the Part 18. I had 5 days to report that to the state. That was all sent into the state.
So we've not gotten nothing back from
Oh,
this
okay.
point. We can inquire and stuff.
Okay.
It would be good to have that information once again for disaster planning and stuff for future. With
Yeah.
that would be something that would be beneficial to all. But like I said, I have nothing to report on that at this point. Anything else on the unfinished business? Okay, we'll move on. Approval of the council treasurer's report that was reported earlier. Motion to second.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Okay. All right, so I bring up once again an approval, if necessary, for venue funds to host the 2023 EMS awards. We're still working on a price for that. We put a deposit down on the venue itself. But I would ask once again that the executive board and the committee once again review and if needed, any funds to support that prior to our next meeting, which won't be until the beginning of November. So like a motion and stuff.
You want a provisional amount on that, or?
Well, yeah, can you do it not to exceed?
Yeah, at least get something on the.
Would somebody like to, currently, the quotes that we currently have, we need 100 minimum. And I believe it was 75 ahead. Or thereabouts.
Yeah.
So, as I said, we are looking to, plus awards, and the awards generally, once again, run, I can tell you from the last 2 years that I've run it, the awards generally run around 1,500, between plaques and all. I believe it'd probably be less this year because I believe we only have eight awards and stuff. There were 2 that were not submitted this year.
You want to give yourself a little buffer though. So not to exceed 9,000.
Yeah, because we have to start making payments.
That 75 include tip.
I'm sorry, so it does not include a tip. It only includes the, $2 a head for the Mater Day.
So not to exceed, we have a motion on the floor, once again, not to exceed $9,000.
I meant it.
Yeah,
Not to exceed 10,000.
Yeah.
Not to, and once again, we will, work because we want to make sure, that we are having people show up at the dinner and stuff. So there probably will be a nominal fee. We're not sure whether it be 50/50 or how we're gonna work that out. We'll discuss that in future meetings with Chief Chester and the executive board, as well as his committee. So we have a motion for not to exceed 10,000. For second, on the question,
What's the new date for the dinner?
11/20, November 20th,
November 20th,
Wednesday, November 20th.
okay? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? So ordered. All right. This is just a discussion, membership attendance, as well as constituency. Once again, we're gonna send out some, reminders. We've sent out a number of reminders and stuff to constituencies, council members. And it seems that we're not getting excusals, nor are we getting attendance. And especially is a problem when we don't have the alternates who are set up in their seats to be able to attend. Does anybody have any, ideas?
What also constitutes an excusal? Is there a specific criteria or a pattern of multiple excusals that take into account a membership status?
Well, that is what we're working on. Once again, we're going to start sending out, we've sent out some emails. Some people just get the emails and refuse to come. I'm aware that some of the people, have been notified personally.
Even with the excusals, if you get 6 of them a year.
You're supposed to make 3 meetings per year. And once again, we request that your, attendance, your, alternate, once again, be able to attend if you're unavailable to do that. We understand that life gets in the way sometimes. We had to get excusals. Most of them we got yesterday or the day before. We sent out, almost 2.5 weeks in advance, so people are aware. Set on the same day, pretty much every month, first Wednesday. Rarely do we change, from that. So,
Would maybe alternating times help also, making it either.
well, we brought that up in the past, and the question comes down to, I have no problem running 1 or 2 meetings per year at night, but the question is, are the members have not come forth because a lot of people work during the daytime, they're on the clock and stuff when they're here, especially with the doctors with 3 Mac and stuff. I have no problem, I'm going out, so that's up to these guys. By the time that happens, stuff, I'll be sitting back over there where Barry is, keep an eye on him.
Not even necessarily, even earlier in the morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, where people's work nights can still come, some compromise.
Well, this is why, once again, we open it up to the problem with the virtual is, once again, there's no voting, and once again, it doesn't help us to develop a quorum and stuff with that. That is something that I think this is where the discussion needs to come. As far as different times, all right, the dates have pretty much been set. And we rarely have, I think probably 3 times in my 4 years up here, have we had to entertain extra meetings, and that was when we had to make decisions regarding the future of the program agency and the future of this council here in Nassau County. And that required additional meetings and stuff to solidify that with the state. That's for you guys to discuss and to determine how you want to handle it. I think 2 o'clock is, but if you want to, Suffolk holds theirs at night. I understand that. Do they get a better attendance? I don't know. But, if somebody wants to try it, you want to look at it for next year. The other question becomes, we're fortunate here, and the reason why we've had it all year here is we were trying to move it around to make it easier for people to attend. And every time the last 6 months I called Morelli, they were booked 3 months in advance. No, we can't. So thank you to Karen Rome. I reach out to her. All the meetings, we've been fortunate enough to be able to host it here. We can host the executive session, we can host the council meeting. And that's the reason why, and it's centrally located, so it certainly helps all those people that are coming from a distance with that. That is completely up to the council. If you wanted to pilot it, once again, speak to these gentlemen, send in a recommendation. And, try it. I don't know what the body feels on that. If you want to take a vote and stuff on it, it'd be something that you would have to, do. Does anybody have any other suggestions? So I said, the most important thing is, as you look around this table, is we need to get younger.
Easy, Chuck.
I'm sorry, less experience. Let me leave it at that. Less experience, once again, to bring new people to the table and stuff. Because at some point, as you look around the room, timeout comes, and we need people that are experienced. So, good suggestion, but once again, that's up to the committee and the council to decide.
Could we put out like one of those monkey surveys to see what everybody on the council and alternates think about that, just to get an idea? Instead of,
I have no problem with it. We can look into that this month, and once again, we'll bring it back to you in November, and we'll see what the numbers and stuff look like with that. All right, so, but once again, attendance is important, and as you said, multiple excusals is not an excuse. If you can't be here, you need to vacate the seat, you need to contact the constituency and have somebody else fill that seat with that. So I would just, once again, for the record and stuff, please announce yourself, you're a new alternate, all right, Todd Hagan, all right, once again, one of our new alternates and stuff, on the council.
So, putting aside the people that have been excused, if you've sent out multiple emails and gotten 0 answer from people, at this point, then send a final email. And in that email, you can say, if you are having issues with coming because of time, please notify us. And if they get back to you, then, okay, well, great, now work with them. But if they then ignore that email, stop belaboring the point and get rid of them.
Well, that's the council email. Council, that'll once again become forthcoming. That's why, Robin has been putting this all together and stuff with that. I said the county seat and stuff is set by the county administration. And therefore, once again, they sent the same representative back after 18 months and stuff that we had previously. So,
That one I can't help.
I know you can't help with that. All right, so we'll work on that survey and stuff and get it out there, but I just wanted to be aware of it, that we are looking at it. And that's part of, once again, the bylaws and trying to attract new people to attend these, to make service better. Remember, our mission here is, once again, to serve the public, to serve the residents, the visitors here in Nassau County. And we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to have a constituency that is receptive to change with that. The bylaw, once again, you have the bylaws. Thank you to Frank printing them out. We will send them out to all those members, the council members especially, and the alternates that are not here. And we will once again review this in the next couple of months. If it's ready to go in November, we will take a vote and stuff on it, have it set for January. If not, we'll roll it into the next administration and work on the January There's a lot to it. I know Frank has been working on it the past several months. In the absence of, once again, Dr. Wooten was formerly the chairman on that. He's taken that on. All right. As I said, council executive board nominations were up for 2025. As I said to you last year, come December 31st, 2024, I'm going back to my seat over there. And once again, my wife is aware that she's probably watching the meeting right now. But I will still stay involved, and once again, I will help to work with whatever needs are the new chairman, as well as the program agency. We've made significant progress. So today I would like to once again open it up to nominations for the executive council starting January 2025. And with that, I would like to nominate David Caldor, the chairman of the regional council. With that.
Second nomination.
All right. So is there any other nominations and stuff for chairman for the regional council? All right.
Motion to
Motion
close.
to temporarily close.
Motion made.
Okay. We'll take nominations for vice chairman. Would you like?
Nominate Tom Devaney.
Okay, we have a motion for Tom Devaney,
Second.
currently the secretary treasurer for vice chairman. We have a second. All right, any other nominations for the vice chairman?
Motion
to
temporary
close. All right, and once again, a motion for the secretary treasurer for the REMSCO council. Do we have any nominations for secretary treasurer?
I nominate Ernie Heron.
We have a nomination for Ernie Heron for treasurer.
Second.
Second. Do we have any other nominations for treasurer for the executive council? All right, motion, temporary close. All right, so the elections will be set for November. Once again, for the takeover in January. There will be a line on there, once again, for write-ins if necessary. Good luck. And, once again, thank you, to you all. All right, miscellaneous. Is there anything under miscellaneous?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
you have a seconded motion from the systems committee.
Oh, I'm sorry, my fault. We have a seconded motion coming from the systems committee to elevate, Inwood Fire Department, EMS, to the second spot on the 911 matrix in the, Inwood Fire District.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So ordered. I'm sorry, anything else under miscellaneous?
I have some questions regarding quality. In your previous minutes, when you were soliciting members for the committee, you mentioned that it's a regional statistical type data, and there's some key performance indicators listed by the state. Different types of research, such as, 12 leads on syncopes of a certain age, blood glucose levels, maybe something like epinephrine use or underutilization and anaphylaxis. And I haven't heard any reports like that, from quality. A lot of the reports are very individualized. They seem, either case specific or, and not really getting that data to improve the system regionally overall. So I was just wondering, do we have any key performance indicators that we're trending, or other than airway? Because I think airways.
Well, I will defer that to our regional REMAC chairman and stuff. I see he's responsible for quality assurance.
Very, very, great, question. And, I think part of the issue is the quality committee chair, the bandwidth has been tied up with dealing with individual cases. But notwithstanding, there are opportunities to get the state data when it's available to carve down for regional analysis. There are limitations, though. Not all the data is readily available on the state bridge. Because PCRs aren't getting uploaded, due to once NEMSIS, the new version 3.5 kicked in, all the roadblocks went back in place, and then the PCR stopped getting uploaded, so we have a discrepancy in data, so we could be hitting the mark 100% of the time, and we'll never know, we could be missing the mark. So I think one of the hesitancies to really digging deep and looking at those core metrics that the state wants to look at for us, or for the state, is, once we get a more robust data, so that we can we can pull the data out and look at it. Otherwise, if we do a data analysis, it's really gonna be garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, I mean, research always does have its gaps. I mean, there was, prior to this, I'm sure, like the first quarter, second, first half of the
Sure,
year.
and understanding that there's limitations to the data, I will certainly ask the chairman of the quality committee to see if he has the bandwidth to do this.
Individualized, quality, investigations is really a state function, not a regional function. And so if we want to elevate the region and gear our education towards maybe what we are not hitting well, or really, say, hey, we're doing this part really great in the region. Let's take it further and study something different, not even one of the core metrics that's evidence-based. Let's, come up with our own, because we are so robust and we have a great room of talent. I think we should really be looking at that stuff.
I think you're right, because you can only grow and improve, and that's our mission, right? Just to give good quality patient care.
That's as far as I can tell from the minutes. I don't know if there is that data, if it exists, what we're really looking at.
So I can reach out to the state and see if they can give us the regional data for those core metrics.
It's printed online. I mean, they basically tell you how to put the numerator, denominator, get some.
Yeah, done.
So I sit on the state quality metrics committee. So the holdup there is, as the doc's trying to explain. It's speculated, and we know this from some of the backstory for the IJO project. It's speculated that anywhere from 20 to 40% of the PCRs statewide, probably more heavily in our region due to previously acknowledged
Issues.
Thank you, issues. That data is not there, and anything we pull from that is gonna be faulty, erroneous, due to this missing. We don't know type situation. So, yeah, the quality metrics committee published those two, the VMS compass measures and stuff like that. The goal is to enable the regions to then run that data regionally, and then allow the regions to then push that out individually to each agency, so that, blinded, of course, like everything else, statisticals, we don't know, but so you would have. Right, we've all taken classes, so you know what passing is, you know what the class average is, and you can see where you are in relation to that as an individual provider, as an agency, as a region, on up statewide. The real answer right now, embarrassingly, is we're not there yet with the data.
Well, I mean, we do have some data, so, it should be like a randomization anyway, but aside from that, the data hasn't always been missing, and there's other metrics outside of what they publish that we could, sit down as a region and say, hey, 20% of providers are really recognizing anaphylaxis, giving epinephrine. Let's gear our education, let's gear our funds towards that kind of thing. I think blaming the fault of the system and really not trying and coming up with some metrics is a failure on a regional level.
Yeah, no, it's something that's obviously on everyone's radar and we're striving towards, and I fully agree. The acknowledgement right now, state down and region up, is we know. We think we know, we have a fairly good estimate of what we are missing. So what if those are all the ones we're actually looking for from a quality assurance and then a quality improvement? What if those are all the ones that aren't going through? So this is part of the regional ask and the statewide ask for, principally, we're talking PCR data is the most readily available theoretically, right? For reporting back to the region and then up on through that org chart through all of our partner facets, so we can collectively get a handle on this. The big answer, the big unanswered right now is, so what do we do if an agency is not reporting correctly? What do we do to agencies that refuse? What do we do to vendors that aren't meeting those requirements? Obviously, those are probably gonna be some pretty tough answers, and that's why the delay in getting those answers.
I mean, every study has its limitations, and obviously that's a huge limitation here, but I mean, at least if we set the groundwork by the time. these
I'm
people
gonna
get-
just, to move the meeting forward, I want to ask that you submit an email request to join the QAQI
I
committee.
previously did that.
And we'll forward it to Dr. Zazzo, and this way we could get you on the committee, and you could bring these ideas there, which is the best place to start getting this move ball rolling.
I did that
Yeah, I
roughly 2 months ago.
You did.
Yes,
Did
I
you hear back?
No.
Okay, all right, so we have to just send a reminder email, please,
Yeah.
and then we'll try.
Got
and get that.
But isn't that one of our key performance indicators right there, that 20 to 40% that's not getting up to the state? Perhaps we could be reporting out on that each meeting of how well we're
So
doing with
that's
that.
that gets reported out in the coordinator,
Those already being done.
EMS
Oh, it's
manager's
done.
report.
I'm sorry.
So if your EMS manager's not sharing that with you, that's not.
No,
the
I
manager.
read it. I just probably didn't read that.
No, there's a list
No,
of
weekly
numbers
is-
by agency. Not here.
Okay, I got it.
That
So,
shows.
yeah, just to be clear,
PCRs.
that goes directly to each EMS agency manager. We have not yet gotten to the point where we want to publicly disseminate that.
It's not for public consumption.
Peer pressure / public embarrassment. We've tried that in the past. We're not there yet. As far as the performance measures, so we use that phrasing, right? That was in the last governor's budget for regulatory and statutory change. That's one of the things that was enabled. Passed, it's awaiting governor's signature. There's a performance measures subcommittee for REMSCO working on what those will be and what teeth will come with that. Why it's important to be in statute and law is when it comes time to make an example of somebody, the full weight of the state of New York will be behind that. So again, not a threat, but a realization, as we sort of alluded to when we started the meeting. If you haven't seen an intensification in enforcement actions on the individual level from the state, pay attention, because that same level is coming to a region near you. Not a threat, not a promise, probably just a glimpse into the future. Yeah, the personal
Quality is usually
accountability
not
and agency is
punitive.
coming.
You know, quality is not usually punitive, it's just so we can learn from our mistakes and do better, you know, as a whole. And does is it the program agency or is there funding that supports quality improvement within the organization part or no?
Not yet.
So not currently, that's one of the asks
In the
in the new
structure.
contract that, again, with the program agencies and the state contracting people, has been on the ask for 3 years. The last 3-year contract, the one that just expired, wasn't actually a new contract, so they couldn't alter anything, it was actually an extension of the previous contract, so now we're,
I guess the question is,
8
where
years
is
back.
within the structure here, and that would be program agency?
it's actually everybody. If you look in
Okay.
Article 30, you'll see quality mentioned throughout.
Right.
Principally spearheaded by the physician leadership at REMAX and CMAX.
It's also at the agency level.
Yeah.
The Article 30 specifies the agency has to produce a quarterly report and present it to the REMAC Quality Committee.
My question was more toward the funding of what supports the
So,
education
but,
and the quality issues.
but if you want to start at your agency level and be the leader and set the example for the region, getting a quarterly report to the QAQI committee, you can say, hey, look, this is what this agency is doing for us. You know, start small and work big. That's what we've been doing all along here
Work big or
for
go
many
home.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Time.
where,
Right.
as I said, I deferred to Dr. Kugler because that is his responsibility as the quality assurance manager and stuff. We look at operations. I do, Dr. Zazzo, what I'm saying, as far as the REMAC chairman and stuff, him and Dr. Zazzo and stuff are directly responsible and stuff for quality assurance. I do quality assurance for about 6 different departments. I know they're out there doing their quality assurance and they're actively engaged. Question is, where are the other 75 or 80 agencies and stuff? Are they actively participating in agency quality assurance and forwarding to it? That was one of the reasons why the E-Bridge gives us a little bit more data and stuff to be able to research, to look into quality issues. We've dramatically expanded the quality assurance team from where we were 2 or 3 people to close to maybe 10, including senior medics and stuff. more than likely to, we're more than happy to get more people and stuff on there, as long as we have, once again, HIPAA responsibilities and all the other stuff. And making sure that, as you said, it's for quality improvement, not for punitive reasons behind that. So we have started in the last 12 to 14 months, improving that portion of it, and we're seeing things and changes that we had never seen before with that, so.
So,
That's
yeah,
where we are.
lastly, just to close the loop on the performance measures, so those statutes aren't required for those that are or will, they're there for those that won't. And that's, as we know regionally, the unanswered question is, we're not talking about those that can't or don't, what do we do with those that won't? And they're different things. So, you know, until that teeth comes along, unfortunately, that's the nature of things, so. It's on everyone's radar, it's a topic of discussion on every level. The real public acknowledgement is that our data is broken and faulty in everything that we ask of it. Again, Senior on the side, I'll give you some insight into the backstory. It was discussed in the open at REMSCO for iGel and the data deficiencies there, but I agree. Seems like a button push in the information age we live in. Big Brother's not that friendly just yet, so.
Dr. Newbert, you have
Yeah,
a
no,
question.
I just wanted to add, just, what everyone was saying. That is the reason that we have the airway form on eBridge and how useful that has been as a quality assurance tool, because, and we're, you know, we were just talking about it offline, that we're depending on the providers to be the ones providing us with the data, right? I mean, they still can't completely track, we were talking about that, you can't still completely track if someone intubates and doesn't fill out the airway form. We don't really have, we were talking like, yeah, probably a hospital would call us and say, hey, there's a problem, and then we would look, and there wouldn't be an airway form, and then we would know to look into it, but there's still that piece that's broken because we can't get the data, so, you know, the airway form is extremely helpful to us as a quality assurance tool, because we want to make sure we're teaching people, and we're giving the people the right information, and I was very reassured when we looked at that there were not a lot of missed tubes or issues, like I didn't know, we were literally, we're not getting that data before we asked for it, and we got it, and looked at it, you know, we're still, you know, there's a lot of digesting of that data, and we're all volunteers doing that, but at least in the quick over, you know, 1,000-foot view, where there were no major egregious issues, which was our concern from the airway committee, because if we're looking into RSI, which is a super specific, you know, low, thankfully, you know, low, you know, frequency, but high acuity procedure, we wanted to make sure that the everyday intubations and the everyday airways were not being missed. And to be honest with you, between reviewing the iGel, which has shown that we could do this very well at the BLS level with a really nice aquatic airway, then that data has been great. And showing that we're not having a lot of missed tubes at the non-RSI level, it then gives us reassurance that then we can move the system forward with the RSI, and that's why we're trying to enroll people. So I think that maybe shows the piece of how we can make all those pieces work, but it takes a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces there, but it's workable, but it just, I mean, we have a whole committee doing this. I mean, we developed an entire system just for that one little quality assurance piece. And you're right, we should be looking at all of this. It's just to get everyone an idea of, like, that's like 3 years of work that our committee has done to get that data that we're giving to you. So just to, you know, perspective of, you know, why you have that information.
Thank you, Dr. Newbert. Chief, Chairman DeMoss.
Yes, when we talking about the, trying to get everybody on board and their, agencies to make sure that they're looking at their, EPCRs and things like that. I worked with, Don Hudson in my, last chairmanship in the fire commission. When we had several departments not turning in their annual reports and things like that. And I'll volunteer to do it, but to start, you know, as long as I get a list of who I have to contact and try to work with them to educate them a little more to move this along, so we have some real, you know, numbers and documentation that we could get something going here.
I agree with you, and we've been pushing for that. The past 4 years that I've been sitting up here and stuff. You know, the question is, we don't have, and it came up in a few meetings ago, enforcement.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying enforcement.
And we don't have contracts, we don't have volunteer agencies and stuff, as he said. Is it that they can't? that they
Yeah, won't, the thing that I was talking about, those like the paperwork and things like that. And that's why I went out and I was educating these people at the same time, and then there, these chief officers, board of fire commissioners and things like that. Had no idea what is involved, and these EMS managers are not forwarding the stuff up to the chiefs and to the board and things like that. So that's why I'm saying, I will volunteer as a former fire chief, a former commissioner,
I will
to
secure-
work with these different agencies to make sure that we're getting somewhere. Otherwise, we're just gonna be
Well-
spinning our wheels and getting nowhere.
As you can see, the past 2 years, we've had full 100% compliance on getting the data and stuff in by January 31st.
Because they were educated 2 years ago.
Once again, and the
Well, if you
stick
remember,
came
the
out,
year
and once
before
again,
that, it came to the stick.
Exactly, and
So-
that's when we,
Right.
that's when we started the education routine.
and we
When we
downgraded,
sat here and we got
3 or
people-
4
Right.
agencies and stuff within 24 hours.
They got
That
their stuff.
information was there. All right, so it comes down to, once again, I'll gladly assist you with that, and that's another piece of the puzzle that needs to be put in there. But there are agencies out there that maybe can't, that are afraid to ask for help, much like we had with, once again, one of the agencies that was downgraded this month, because we've said all along, if you have problems, or you have an agency inspection coming up, reach out to it if you're not sure. And then we find out that not only did they have problems with their inspection, but they went out and changed their medical director without the knowledge of anybody involved here in not only the region, but with the state. So therefore, is it a question of whether they can't? They're not sure how, or they just won't do it.
No, it's,
it's
99%
time,
of
once
it is
again, to-
education.
So
And,
I'll
like I
gladly
said,
help you with that.
the
once
fire
again, but that's where
commissioners
we
and the
are.
fire chiefs, you know, and I don't mean to belittle anybody or take and knock anybody down, but most of them are not EMS based, you know, and that's where they need to get the education to find out what's going on. The fire commissioner stays for 5 years, so sometimes it's easier to talk to them, whereas the fire chief is usually in the office for 1 to 2
Well,
years.
this is why the agency manager is the point person to get it to everybody else,
Right,
including leadership with that.
Right.
And
but again, a lot of them don't want to listen to the agency manager because he's only EMS. What does he know? I'm the fire chief, I'm the fire.
Nancy Fisher, sorry.
So is it possible to have a committee at the REMSCO level, a QA/QI committee?
There is.
Instead of like.
Chaired by Dr.
We have a
Zappa.
combined committee of quality assurance, which has been established through REMAC and REMSCO, that currently is seated. And it's getting its foothold on some quality issues and stuff that have.
But instead of
have come up.
competing at that level with different priorities, have a committee here at this level.
It is at this level.
It is at this level. It has, needs to be expanded. It needs to be expanded with quality across the board to other types of issues that we just haven't gotten to just yet.
It's run by the REMAC because, and it includes the REMSCO because the physicians have to oversee. They oversee the clinical part of it. There's paramedics, so it's physicians and paramedics working together. And it has to be overseen by REMAC because they're the clinical experts, they're the physicians. So it's,
I'm just listening to pieces of data capturing and data management, communication, and working together that we have here, and people stepping up to wanting to do things.
Well, that's part of building a regional system, and we've been doing that. And look back 10 years ago, we had no system. Right? We still have a disparate. We still have a disparate. This agency is only going to go to these calls, and this agency is only going to go to these. We don't have a system. So Chief Utero, that's the reason why we had a team meeting with county legislator, county executive, all constituencies to sort of mobilize everybody to come up with the best practice to create a regional EMS system. So now there's Crew Force, there's eBridge, there's data tracking, there's great communications between the different Firecom and the police department. We're all slowly marching together to come to make a region. And part of that is building regional quality, but we're doing everything very, very slowly at a snail's pace, so that you may not even notice that the snail is moving, but we are. And so you while you may not be aware of that quality committee, for example, it does exist. It's chaired by Dr. Zazo. It has members from both the REMAC and the REMSCO. You do have to ask to be a member because it discusses very sensitive items, sometimes that involve patient care items that, if were discussed in an outward fashion, may result in a medical malpractice lawsuit. So all the members have to sign disclosure agreements. It's not something that we openly talk about. We will discuss the summary findings from that meeting. But because that committee is so bogged down with smaller items, it's very difficult to look at the bigger items. And yes, the more members we have, maybe the better, the more easier it'll be. As legislature changes at the state level and funding comes down, we could get more money to look at these things. As communication and technology improve, we could get better data. So everybody has a lot of great ideas. And I think they're all wonderful. And I think if we always keep the patient as a key focus of what we're doing, and we keep striving to improve patient care, then we're always going to win. And we're doing that, but very, very slowly. And we need these little fits and starts to sort of move us little steps up. And by asking the question, by pushing the issue at these meetings openly and repeatedly, you're going to keep helping us move up that level. But you know, again, most of us are volunteers, right? Like everybody here. We don't get paid for this time. And we all have, you know, families and work to contend with, as well as our other obligations. And so that's not that it's an excuse. It's just that we need to prioritize the needs of the committee. And in this case, the quality committee has been focused on some serious issues that need much more timely attention than looking at data. So please resubmit your email request. We'll see if we can get you on the committee, and maybe we could get the data for you so you can crunch it. You know, just be careful what you ask for, because you may be tasked with that job, right? So I apologize for taking up your time, Mr. Chairman, but I hope that helps address your concern.
We're working slowly to make
Right.
sure that we. Anything else on the miscellaneous? All right. We'll move on once again. Is Bob McAvoy and stuff here? Is he able to make it today? No? All right, once again, I'd like to welcome Robert McAvoy. He's a CSEA rep for that. He'll be replacing Chris Callender and stuff on the council. Hopefully we'll see him at the November meeting. Anything for the good of the council?
Chuck, the 9/11 memorial.
9/11 Memorial?
There's the county 9/11 memorial, there's a fire service 9/11 memorial, and there's the state EMS memorial, the week of the state meetings, which was previously mentioned. So first of all, in the EMS coordinator report, but
Yeah.
On a question. On these new state memorial, is there anybody being added this year from the county of Nassau?
no, sir.
Not that I
Okay.
know of. No. But as you mentioned, the memorial, so, it's still a work in progress. As I said, 2.5 years ago, once again, I submitted a request, we got approval and stuff for a place over in Eisenhower Park. I took it to the fire commission, and looked at it, they need to replace their memorial, over there as well. I've been working with the past chairman of the commission as well as the current chairman, and they are trying to restructure their committee in order to do that. I've contacted a friend of mine in H2M, who is an architectural firm. I'm awaiting some designs that they've done previously. I attended the fire commission meeting, I believe, 4 weeks ago. Was unable to attend the last one. I plan on being at the one next week, if at all possible. But we are working towards, once again, getting some designs, getting a committee up sometime in the near future. I've expressed that to them. And looking at funding, once a design and stuff. And we can look at the amount of space needed over at Eisenhower Park in order to make that a reality. Very important, once again, as we've lost quite a few people that we probably don't even know. And they should not have to go up to Albany once again to recognize their loved ones and stuff there. So it is in the progress. I'm just waiting on further information on that. I'm in contact with Commissioner Wakely last week, and soon as he has a committee, and I have some designs, I'm gonna sit down, and I know I have a couple of people that have already expressed interest in getting on that committee. And if at all possible, I'd like to have it done by next May. See, where you reach out to different administrations, hospital administrations and others, to see how the funding and stuff, and work with the fire side to develop that funding source for it. So, as he brought it up, I had mentioned it earlier, but that is a key goal of mine. I'll continue on with that once my term is done. Okay, anything else under the good of the council?
What might miscellaneous thing go to the council?
Excuse me?
Can the committees be posted on the website? This way, it's available, publicly like the other REMSCOs have. So, on what committee, what the moving parts are.
The committee assignments have been readjusted, I believe, in June and stuff. We can work towards that. We have some bandwidth with that. I know we've sent it out in the past. It's kind of on the fly because as you see, membership changes from meeting to meeting. And we've tried to make sure that we had balance from all the constituencies on most of the committees and stuff with that. So, sure, the new administration and stuff will continue to do that. And I will assist them in any way I possibly can, with that, but good question. Anything else under the good of the council? Otherwise, I'll ask for a adjournment of the meeting. Our next scheduled meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November 6th, to 2 p.m. here at the Public Safety Center. And the next REMAC meeting will be next month, Wednesday, October 2nd at 2:15, also here in this room at the Public Safety Center. What's that?
On election day?
Wednesday, isn't it? October 2nd?
No, you're right. You're right, I'm on election days.
It's election day is on
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
I'm sorry.
or Wednesday, all right?
No, my bad.
Okay, motion to adjourn. Thank you all for coming. Everybody had a great summer. See you in November. Not next month.